Beautiful blue skies at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa today as the Yankees play a Saturday matinee. And their matinee idol captain will be making his spring debut. Aaron Judge getting some pregame autograph reps in. He'll be in right field, batting second, while Jazz Chisholm Jr. gets more familiar with the leadoff spot. He'll start things off for the Yanks this afternoon, while his double play partner, Anthony Volpe, will hit cleanup. We're glad you're with us as we welcome you to Yankees baseball presented by Montefiore Einstein. It's the Yankees against the Houston Astros from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. And it is all about the captain today. His first game of the spring. Well, let's be honest, it's mostly about Judge, but also about the Yanks continuing their build-up for what they hope is a terrific 2025 season. Jack Curry and Meredith Morakovich join me next for First Pitch on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Spring trading on Yes is presented by your local Ford stores. Dominate the field with a legendary capability of the Ford Bronco, official SUV of the New York Yankees. Visit your local Ford store for a test drive. Aaron Boone getting to pencil in the name Aaron Judge this afternoon for the first time this spring. Also, DJ LeMahieu will be in the lineup and making his spring debut. But for the captain of the Yanks, a chance to build up for that regular season, and what a regular season it was for Aaron Judge in 2024, another MVP season. As we welcome you to Steinbrenner Field, and I welcome in Jack Curry and Meredith Morakovich. And Jack, it was a tremendous season for Judge, and now he looks to build on that 2025 and maybe even take it up a notch.
Yeah, remarkable season, unanimous MVP, rightfully so. And if you're a Yankee fan who rolled into Steinbrenner Field on a sunny Saturday, or a Yankee fan who is watching us on Yes or the Gotham Sports app, that's the vision that you want to see. Number 99 in the lineup for the first time this spring. We'll go over the numbers, Bob, but what he did last season was historic. One of the greatest seasons ever from a right-handed hitter.
Yankees playing the Astros for the first of 2 times this spring. It is their 8th spring game, and again the first for Judge. And let's take a look at today's starting lineup for the Astros, brought to you by Sandals, made of Caribbean. It begins with Jeremy Pena at short, Mauricio Dubon at second, Yadier Diaz will be the DH, Chas McCormick is out in left field, Zach DeZenzo's in right, Shea Whitcomb at third, Luis Castro at first, Kennedy Corona in center, and Cesar Salazar will round out the order and do the catching for the Astros this afternoon. And they will go up against Cam Schlitter this afternoon as we take a look at the ceremonial first pitch at George M. Steinbrenner Field.
First pitch thrown out by Tampa Bay Bucks head coach Todd Bowles. So we get a little football action at Steinbrenner Field. He does his work right across the street. For those who don't know, the Bucks play their games right across Dale Mabry.
So for a moment, George M. Steinbrenner Field was a multi-purpose facility, not only baseball but football, with Bowles throwing out that first pitch.
He's from Elizabeth, New Jersey, Bob, big Yankee fan, and he skipped that one to the plate, and I would say that every player on the Bucks is going to let him know about that.
So again, the Yanks against the Astros this afternoon. They made the trip across the state. And again, facing Cam Schlitter this afternoon. Saw him back on Wednesday. Had a couple real strong innings against the Cardinals in a 7-0 win. And he'll get the ball to start things off this afternoon. Cam Schlitter last year spanned all three levels, high A, double A, and triple A. 23 starts, went 8-8 with a ERA under 3.5. And a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Let's check out the Hyundai pitcher scouting report on Cam Schlitter.
Yeah, he's an arm on the rise. He was the South Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year last year. He was MLB Pipeline's Yankee Pitcher of the Year because of those numbers that you just mentioned. Bob, he's got swing and miss stuff. The fastball will be in the mid-90s, but he can go even higher with that. But he also throws a sweeper and a curveball, so that's why he's averaged 11 strikeouts per 9 innings in his minor league career. He's long, lean, and athletic. You will see he's 6'6", kind of jumps at the hitter. When you have that kind of size, you're going to release the ball closer to the plate. So that number that we're talking about on the radar gun, you can add a little bit of velocity to that, because where Schlitter lets it go, he's going to get extra velo.
Well, let's take a look at the defense that will play behind Schlitter today. It is Jason Dominguez at left, Duke Ellis in center, and Aaron Judge in right. George Lombard Jr. at third base, Anthony Volpe at short, Jazz Chisholm Jr. at second. Dominic Smith is at first base today, and Ben Rice doing the catching. So we haven't seen Rice really behind the plate much this spring, but he gets the start with Schlitter on the mound. Again, Schlitter pitched on Wednesday against the Cards. Pretty impressive stuff. Meantime, for Jeremy Pena and the Astros, he's looking to have an even better season in 2025. Last year, 15 homers and 76 runs batted in, as Schlitter delivers the first pitch swinging. Volpe on to first, one away.
Pretty easy start if you're a starting pitcher. One pitch, one out. We mentioned the arsenal that Schlitter features, Bob. That last outing that you talked about against the Tigers, he was fastball, sweeper, and curveball. He's been working on a splitter. He didn't show it in that outing. We'll see if we see it today.
That brings up Mauricio Dubon, 137 games last year. Not a big power guy in terms of numbers. 4 homers, 47 runs batted in. Schlitter whistles a fastball on the outside part of the plate for strike one. You know, Nelly and I called the game on Wednesday. We also noticed, beyond the height, loves the high socks and the short pants as well.
Yeah, he is featuring those David Robertson-esque high socks for hope. Also pitches from the first base side of the rubber, and the Yankees are enthused about Schlitter out of Northeastern. Someone who, as I said, has been a pitcher on the rise. Really pitched well at the minor league level last season. He's got that swing and miss stuff. 7th round pick in 2022.
And you mentioned pitcher of the year, and that speaks volumes about they have a lot of quality arms in their system. So to be top dog in that respect, and he showed it right there with a cutter and his first strikeout of the game.
Yeah, we talked about what he features, and this is one of the pitches we didn't talk about, but Dubon swinging right over that cutter. So the swing and miss stuff that we talked about from Schlitter, there it is with the second at bat of the game.
And it brings up the number 3 hitter, Yainer Diaz. And Schlitter missing away, 1-0. Diaz DHing today, 16 homers, 84 runs batted in last season for the Astros. who finished again in first place in the American League West, Jack, but then were knocked out in the wild card round in that first round by the Tigers.
That was after a really rocky start. The Astros started off 7-19. They dealt with a ton of injuries. Arrighetti, who was pitching for them today, part of the reason he was put in the rotation, well, the reason is because of the injuries that they dealt with. They finished very strong, 54-33 to end the season, but as you said, Bob, postseason bowed out quickly.
2-1 pitch coming up to Diaz. And a cutter missing away, 3-1. Big storyline in the offseason for the Astros was the trade to the Cubs of Kyle Tucker, and also now the move from Jose Altuve from second base to left field, and he played in his first game yesterday in left, Jack, and did not get a chance on a ball.
Yeah, we're so used to seeing Altuve handle second base. It's going to be an adjustment to see him out in left field. There were some social media posts, Bob, that he actually gave away his infield glove to a fan, so he's serious about being a left fielder.
It's a pretty good souvenir. Jazz Chisholm Jr. on first, and that's it. A 1-2-3 inning for Cam Schlittler and the Yanks. First at bats for the Yankees and for Aaron Judge coming up. Good to have you back at George M. Steinbrenner Field as the Yanks take their first at-bats of the afternoon, and Aaron Judge back in action. Let's take a look at where he stacks in the starting lineup for the Yankees. Brought to you by Sandals, made of Caribbean, and where else this season now? Aaron Judge batting in the two-hole, playing right field today. Jazz Chisholm Jr. will lead off. Jason Dominguez batting third. Anthony Volpe hitting cleanup. Ben Rice doing the catching and batting fifth. Followed by DJ LeMahieu, Dominic Smith, George Lombard Jr., and Duke Ellis patrolling center and batting ninth. And again for Judge, a chance to maybe claim a third MVP. And I think he and Shohei Ohtani in the National League probably the favorites again going into the preseason, right?
Yeah, I think if you were in Vegas, that's exactly what you would see.
Spencer Arrighetti gets the start. He had 28 starts last season for the Astros, pitching to an ERA of 4.5. And first pitch to Jazz Chisholm Jr. in for a strike. Let's check out the Hyundai pitcher scouting report on Arrighetti.
Arrighetti told Houston reporters he needs to be a pitcher and not a thrower this season. Looking to be a calmer sophomore, Bob. He was injected into this rotation because of all the injuries the Astros had and got off to a really slow start. Almost a 6 ERA in his first 16 starts. And then finally, he's a local kid. He is representing H-Town, born in New Mexico, but went to high school in Katy, Texas, which, by the way, is the hometown of Roger Clemens.
So you think he's a Clemens fan, or maybe pattern some of what he does on Roger Clemens? Everybody from that area seems to do that, right?
I think if you're a pitcher and you watch the way Roger Clemens comported himself and the intensity and the competitiveness that he had, I think you'd be doing yourself a favor. The Yankees had Clemens in spring training camp this spring.
3-1 pitch to Chisholm and a swing and a miss. 3-2.
Yeah, Arrighetti's going to throw a fastball in the mid-90s. He's got a sweeper and a curve. He'll throw his cutter. More often throws the cutter to lefties than righties.
Jazz to the right side. Castro, a little, almost a collision there at first base, but put it in the books. 3-1 and out number one.
That would be an example, I think, of a first baseman getting caught in between. He got the out. I think he elected not to try and throw to Arrighetti, who was there, and narrowly beats the speedy Chisholm.
So a 3 unassisted in the books and 1 away. And here's Aaron Judge coming off that MVP season in which he hit .322, 58 home runs, and 144 runs batted in. Made even more remarkable, as we know, Jack, because he had a slower than normal start in April, but then the numbers and the talent, of course, just jumped off the plate for the next 5 months.
Yeah, 23 games into the season, Judge was hitting .174 with 3 home runs, but both he and Aaron Boone consistently said that he's Aaron Judge, and the numbers were going to follow. And Judge proved that in an emphatic fashion with the numbers that he put up. Just a tremendous season.
Behind 0-2 to Arrighetti, who tries to drop a little curveball in there and misses 1-2.
That's a good pitch by Arrighetti, but that's also a good first spring training at-bat take from Aaron Judge, because he will see a lot of that this season. Pitchers trying to get him to chase out of the zone.
One-two pitch to Judge. Up and away, 1-2. So it's March 1st, Judge making his first start. And Jack, this was always the plan, right? A bit of a slow walk for the captain to get him back up to speed and gameplay.
Right, and I think the reason you see that is part of the information that was in the graphic that we showed earlier. Played 158 games last season. What do you need to get yourself ready for spring training? That's obviously a conversation the Yankees had with Judge. Your sports science people get involved, and you want to make sure that your best players are ready for the season.
Payoff pitch. And near the top of the zone, you can see that Aaron Judge doesn't necessarily agree with that one. Won't challenge it, though. A strikeout looking, and 2 away in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, we talked about that cutter. I said Arrighetti throws it a lot to lefties, but he features it here against Judge. And Judge is caught looking.
By the way, that is Jen Powell behind the plate today. The umpire at the AAA level, Jack, but she might get a taste of the big leagues.
Yeah, she is listed on the MLB call-up list, so has the potential to be the first female umpire in a Major League Baseball regular season game.
Jason Dominguez, the batter here, batting third today. Again, Jen Powell behind the plate, Dan Iasonia at first, James Hoy at second, and Vic Carapazza at third base.
How have you been?
Dominguez fouling off a breaking ball. A lot of storylines this season will be about Dominguez and the reps that he's getting when he's not in the games in left field, and just trying to figure out all the angles and whether he's a legit left fielder or whether they maybe need to think about moving Bellinger over for some of that time and putting him back in center.
Right, Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman, the general manager, have both talked about that.
Laces that one to center field, but Corona is there, and that will do it. We'll talk a lot more about Dominguez, Judge, and much more when we come back. Top of the second coming up.
making a meaningful difference in the lives of veterans and first responders in need. Learn more by visiting vetdogs.org.
Yankee Spring Training on Yes is presented by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. As we cruise to the top of the second after a couple 1-2-3 innings for both the Yankees and the Astros. Top of the second, Cam Schlittler in his second inning of work. Scoreless and hitless on the Ford scoreboard. As a number 4 hitter, Chas McCormick will be the batter, playing left field today in 94 games last season. Just a .211 hitter, 5 homers and 27 runs batted in. And Jack, we talked about the success in the end that the Astros had after a slow start, winning the West before losing in the wild card round. And how would you kind of view their season this year with a lot of injuries to the pitchers, some players coming off subpar seasons? It's not a rebuild, maybe a little bit of a reset. Is that fair to say in terms of some of their offseason moves?
Yeah, I think reset is probably a better way to describe it than a rebuild. But when I look at this lineup and you don't see Kyle Tucker and you don't see Alex Bregman, it looks like a less fearsome lineup to me.
McCormick out to right. Judge gloves it, one away. And again, Bregman's gone. We thought that might happen, Jack, that they would reunite. Bregman, a free agent, ended up signing with the Red Sox. They traded away Kyle Tucker. We heard the trade possibilities with Nolan Arenado. That did not happen.
Right, Arenado rejecting that trade. The Astros would have liked to have had him. They did add Paredes, Christian Walker. So they'll be everyday players for them, but Verlander obviously no longer with them. Kikuchi, who they had acquired in a trade, no longer with them. And Ryan Presley in the bullpen no longer with them. So a team that won 88 games last year going into 2025 with a different look, trying to see if the Astros can repeat that.
Zach DeZenzo is up. DeZenzo playing right field today. Schlittler works pretty quickly. 11 pitch first inning to retire the side in order, and there's a nice slider away and a swing, 1-2.
You always look at a pitcher's mechanics, Bob, and when you look at Schlittler, he had some refining to do. Sam Breen, the Yankees director of pitching, told the New York Post that Schlittler had some difficulty controlling his body going down the mound when the Yankees first drafted him. 6'6", 200 pounds, very athletic. So they wanted him to add some muscle and refine his delivery, and that's what Schlittler has done.
Misses just at the top of the zone as the count goes to 3-2. And you could say from this angle, bearing out what you're saying, Jack, kind of very simple movement, a step and then a stride towards the plate. Ground ball left side, George Lombard Jr. 1 away, 2 away.
What's the thing we always hear about tall pitchers or tall players, right? Especially pitchers, though, Bob. A lot of moving parts, and you're right. Schlittler is refined. He's more compact. He's going straight towards the plate, and he does seem very under control, and he seems very confident here in his second spring outing.
2 away, and the number 6 hitter, Shea Whitcomb, is the batter, playing third base today. Whitcomb getting into 20 games for the Astros last season. And Schlittler misses up 1-1. And a good four-seam fastball in for a strike, 1-2.
His fastball has been impressive today, Bob. One more look at it right there. That's an explosive fastball. You see Rice is happy about that, and now he's in position to have his second straight 1-2-3 inning.
And Whitcomb staying alive in the foul ball.
Yankees obviously haven't assigned their players to minor league camps yet, but Schlittler finished last season at AA Somerset. pretty good bet that the Yankees would want him to start there and conquer that level.
Nearly and hoping that he conquered that one, top of the zone, and just missed, so evens a count at 2-2.
I think I saw a flinch from Jen Powell, Bob. I think she was about to ring him up. There's a little step back. Maybe not. Maybe that was just a step back. Maybe I'm misreading that.
And Schlittler misses there, so the count full at 3-2. Burns one across the outside corner for a second strikeout of the afternoon, and his second straight 1-2-3 inning as we head to the bottom of the second.
Visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on a new vehicle.
Suit up this season at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic jerseys, caps, hoodies, t-shirts, and more. Visit MLBshop.com, the official source for your Yankees gear. Scoreless on the Ford scoreboard in Tampa. Bottom of the second, and the 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Yankees: Volpe, Rice, and LeMahieu. And when you get some hard hit foul balls, Jack, there's collateral damage in the ballpark. We saw that off the bat of Whitcomb.
Yeah, there's some work ahead for the capable Tampa staff. Someone is going to have to replace that glass. A little damage done.
0-2 pitch to Volpe. And checked his swing, so 1-2. 28 stolen bases last year for Anthony Volpe. And a fastball that Arrighetti thought was a strike. Missed. 2-2.
You look at Volpe entering his third season with the Yankees, Bob, and I think as we take one more look at this pitch that's just off the corner, his postseason is really going to be something that I think will help carry him through this season as he swings over that curveball. But really strong numbers in the postseason. He had an OPS of over 800. Obviously, he had that grand slam in Game 4. No contact here as really nasty curveball by Arrighetti gets the swing and miss.
So really for him, Jack, it's about finding a way to smooth out the peaks and valleys of the regular season, as he's probably scheduled to play north of 140, 150 games. Ben Rice, the batter now, with one away in the bottom of the second. And Rice doing the catching today.
Back to Volpe real quick, Bob. It's a great point by you because he had a 21-game hitting streak in 2024. He had a 34-game on-base streak. The only Yankee who had a longer one was Judge, who we already said had that amazing season. So it is about that consistency for Volpe and making sure that you continue it throughout an entire season.
So Ben Rice is interesting, catching today. His third time catching this spring as Arrighetti misses 2-1. Hey, Jack, I was talking to Jeff Nelson about this on Wednesday, As you look for the backup to Austin Wells, this would be another lefty. But is it that bad a thing? Do you need the righty balance, or is it just who would be the best man for that spot?
I think the Yankees are taking the best player for that spot.
Rice grounds one to first. Castro to Arrighetti, 2 away.
Be it Rice, Escara, or Jackson. Sure, you would like to have some lefty-righty balance, but I also think the Yankees are just going to take the player who they think will best be a suitable backup for Wells. Escara getting a ton of positive attention and words about him from the Yankee organization throughout this spring.
Well, they want to be able to talk in a lot of positive terms about DJ LeMahieu, Jack. No doubt about that. DHing today in his first spring game and just looking to regain some of the health, no doubt, but consistency and quality of bats that he had a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, DJ LeMahieu is a player with a .289 lifetime batting average, 4 Gold Gloves, 3 All-Star teams, a couple of batting titles, but last year, an absolute struggle for him. He only hit .204. His OPS was .527, and he comes to camp trying to prove to the Yankees that he deserves at bats in 2025. He's in that third base competition with Peraza and Cabrera as Arrighetti throws that fastball right by him.
So you see what he was able to accomplish. His batting average in 2020, .364, led the majors. He was always a consistent 300-plus hitter. But from 2022 on, the numbers have diminished, as has him staying healthy. And that's a swing and a miss on a 4-seamer up, and LeMahieu goes down. So a couple strikeouts in the inning for the Yankees. Let's take it to the top of the third.
Sports.com and stream for free with an eligible TV subscription.
Great to have you back with us in Tampa. Want to remind you that tonight on Yes, Cam Johnson and the Brooklyn Nets are in Detroit for a matchup with Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. Coverage beginning at 6:30 with tip-off shortly after 7 on Yes in the Gotham Sports app. Top of the third, scoreless and hitless on the Montefiore Einstein scoreboard. Cam Schlittler has had 2 1-2-3 innings and now faces the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Astros, starting with Luis Castro.
Not acceptable to have a
Bob, way back when I covered New Jersey high school sports, so I've got some spies out there. We've talked about the plate umpire, Jen Powell. I want to hit you with a couple of numbers from her high school career. She went to West Milford High School. She had 30 career shutouts as a soccer goalie. As a softball player, she had 538 with 153 runs batted in. She is a member of the Bergen Record, which is now NorthJersey.com. She's a member of their all-century softball team and their all-century soccer team. She's an umpire now, but she's been a tremendous athlete.
That's an incredible resume for Jen Powell. Not just all season or anything, all century in 2 sports.
And a catcher. So she's very comfortable behind the plate. Just calling the balls and strikes now.
3-1 pitch to Castro. And Schlittler misses up, and first base runner of the game, a leadoff walk here in the 3rd.
Bob, Ryan Rucco and I were talking about this last night when it came to Spencer Jones and how you have resources like Aaron Judge. If you're Schlittler, whatever it takes to get an audience with Garrett Cole, or perhaps it's CeCe Sabathia or Andy Pettit or Roger Clemens or Ron Guidry, they were there. Even if you're just listening, you need to use those resources.
By the way, on working that game last night, you saw Garrett Cole 3 1/3. He looked terrific. What was your takeaway from that? Because he needed to get off to a good, strong start.
Well, we talked about during the game how it was his first official start this season, but he told Meredith in his post-game interview, he described it as his 5th because he's been facing Yankee hitters. He described himself as being ahead of where he was last year. Now, obviously, he dealt with an injury, but I thought his stuff was good, Bob. The fastball was really good. The knuckle curve was good. He threw some sinkers, a pitch that he hadn't thrown much of last year, and he also was working on his changeup. So you get 5 strikeouts in 3 1/3 innings. I think you're pretty happy with that.
But listening to him, too, just happy that the health is where he wants it to be as he builds up towards this season, where it wasn't last year, and now the Yankees find themselves in a situation where we learned yesterday that Luis Gil has a right shoulder issue that's getting looked at today with an MRI.
Right, Aaron Boone telling us last night that results or further information on Gil might not be available until Monday, but you look at that rotation, and the Yankees are still confident in Cole and Fried and Rodon and Schmidt, and Stroman looms as the 5th starter depending on what happens with Gil.
1-2 pitch, and that ball getting away from Ben Rice, so Castro will advance to second base.
Yeah, that pops out of Rice's glove. Going to end up with a pass ball on this.
One-two pitch coming up to Kennedy Corona. Fouls that one away. Two pitch from Schlittler, misses up high, and the count goes full. So probably going a little deeper into counts than he wanted the past couple innings to a few batters.
Yeah, 6 up and 6 down to start. Walks Castro. And now, as you said, deep count with Corona.
And gets him with a breaking ball. Good decision right there for his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon.
Bob, in our scouting report, we talked about Schlittler having swing and miss stuff, and we've seen evidence of it. I mean, look at the bottom drop out of that curveball. That's a 3-2 pitch where he needed to get the swing, because obviously that ball is not going to be in the strike zone, but he made it look like it was going to be a strike before it fell out of the zone.
Cesar Salazar is the number 9 hitter for the Astros. And by the way, how about the confidence to throw that pitch on a 3-2? You've already walked the leadoff hitter who's now on second, and you've got to have confidence that you can throw that for a swing and a miss, and he did.
In his last outing against the Tigers, he threw 7 curveballs. Tigers were 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts against it. So it's clearly a pitch he has confidence in, as he does in the sweeper as well. Tigers didn't have a hit against the sweeper either. 0 for 1 with a walk.
2-0 pitch. Misses up high, 3-0. Has not allowed a hit yet, has struck out 3, but the Astros with a scoring opportunity, 1 away and a runner at second. And a fastball in for a strike, 3-1.
He likes to throw his fastball up in the zone. He gets some ride on that pitch. And then when you pair that with a couple of pitches that have such great spin, that sweeper and that curveball, making it tough on hitters.
And hoping to battle back to 3-2, but instead a pitch up. So Astros with their second walk of the inning, and runners at first and second and one away. Back to the top of the order for Houston, and the shortstop Jeremy Pena, who grounded out to short in his first at bat.
Bob, going back to Castro moving up 90 feet, I called that a pass ball, but the official scorer actually called it a wild pitch.
Not sure how that is.
Need to get John Flaherty on the phone.
All right.
I mean, it popped out of Rice's glove, and it was just off the zone. That's a pass ball.
Schlittler would love to get a ground ball here, but he's been high in the zone this inning, so getting behind hitters here in the third.
You spell your name with one I or two.
And that's a little looper out into left field for Pena. Looks like they'll send Castro, and Astros with their first run of the game and the first hit of the game, taking advantage of a first and second situation after a couple walks, and the Astros lead it 1-0.
Yeah, Pena is able to take this breaking pitch, dump it into left field. Dominguez comes up throwing, Bob, but his throw is up the line. And the speedy Castro was able to score the first run of the game.
So a meeting at the mound for Schlittler, 48 pitches in. And what we're seeing from him this inning with a couple walks and that base hit, just losing the zone a little bit, having to rely maybe more on that fastball to just try and get back in counts, and ends up costing him when Pena takes him out to left there for an RBI base hit.
Yeah, here's Dominguez's approach, Bob, in left field, and it's a good approach. It's the throw that's up the line, and he really had a hustle to try and get Castro, and he was unable to do it. You're right, though, about Schlittler, Bob. This inning, he hasn't been as crisp. He's fallen behind in some counts. First two innings, it was automatic for him, and now the Astros making him work.
First and second again with one away, and Mauricio Dubon, the hitter. Schlittler struck him out in the first inning, and he fouls that one away.
But our colleague and friend David Cohn would talk about how these are the kinds of innings that shape young pitchers. It's not always going to be 1, 2, 3. Now you've got yourself in a jam. Limit the damage. Can you get that one pitch you need to get a double play right here and get out of the inning?
Dubon offers it that one and fouls it away, 0-2.
Andy Pettit was also famous for saying that. I just need one pitch. I just need one pitch. Bases could be loaded. Could be a fearsome hitter like Manny Ramirez up. I need one pitch. I got to get a ground ball here, get out of the inning.
0-2 pitch. Missing low and away on a cutter, 1-2. Astros making Schlittler work. First and second, one away, and a 1-2 pitch to Dubon. Another breaking ball that misses, 2-2.
So that was Schlittler's 24th pitch this inning, Bob. And remember, in spring training, you don't want to extend especially a young pitcher. Yankees do have action in their bullpen. So whether he gets him out or not, this could be the last batter for Schlittler.
Three-two pitch. Schlittler misses up. Third walk of the inning. And it'll load the bases with one away. And Aaron Boone will go to the bullpen and make a change. So Schlittler on his 54th pitch of the day loads the bases. as the Astros have scored one, and they're threatening for more. And as they make a pitching change, we know it's Ben Rice behind the plate today, and Meredith Marakovits had the chance to catch up with him earlier in the afternoon.
Ben, you got a taste of it last year, getting your call up to the big leagues, had some big moments in pinstripes. What do you take away from last season?
Yeah, I mean, all experience is good experience, right? So to be up there and have some success and some learning experiences, it was huge for me.
You look at today, you're in there catching. I talked to Tanner Swanson earlier this spring, and he said you put in a ton of work behind the plate this spring, this offseason. Just what were you working on in particular?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when I was up in the big leagues, I kind of had to take a little bit of a hiatus from behind the plate. So the focus this offseason was just go back to sharpening what I'm good at, receiving the baseball a lot, working on my blocking, my throwing, really just becoming a well-rounded catcher. Where
do you see your future lying, behind the plate or at first base?
Yeah, I mean, I just prefer to be in the lineup. So wherever that is at, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just going to go wherever gives us the best chance to win.
Tell me a little bit about your offseason. Did you change anything about your routine, about what you did to get yourself ready for this season?
You know, not a whole lot. I mean, just making sure to stay healthy, prepare my body for the workload. I know I was going to be catching a little bit more heading into spring, so kind of just preparing my body to do that and hopefully just hit the ground running once I got here.
Keeping it with catching, any pitcher that you've caught so far this spring that's really stood out to you?
Oh man, all the guys here are so good. It's hard to just pick out a couple. I really enjoyed catching some of our new acquisitions like Max Fried. He's been really fun to catch. Devin Williams has been fun to catch. Obviously guys like Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon. The list goes on and on. I mean, we just got a lot of talented pitchers.
You mentioned Fried. What's it like from your vantage point seeing some of the stuff he's able to throw?
It's great. It's funny, you know, I mean, when he pitched against us shortly after I debuted there at Yankee Stadium, he pitched really well against us, so I got to see him from the hitting perspective. And then once he arrived here to Florida, I got to catch him in the bullpens here. So to see it from the catching perspective just gave me a new outlook on his stuff and maybe how we could help optimize what he does and also just capitalize on what he already does really well.
Man, thanks for the time. Best of luck the rest of today.
Thank you.
Send it back to you.
Great.
Hey
That's
guys,
our interview of the day brought to you by your local Ford stores. Meredith, sorry I jumped you there.
Oh, no, that's okay. We're having some audio issues over here, but we are back on track. It's hard for you to tell right now, I think, because Ben Rice has the catcher's gear on, but he does look a little noticeably bigger. I asked him if he changed his lifting routine, as you see the double play here, to get out of the inning, and he said, no, I just kept eating more. So Ben Rice is a little bit more muscle on the frame heading into 2025.
Marakovits comes in, and we get a double play to end the inning. We'll talk to you soon, Meredith. Welcome back to Yankee Spring Training, presented by your local Ford stores. Dominate the field with a legendary Ford Bronco, official SUV of the Yankees. As we head to the bottom of the third in Tampa, Astros leading it 1-0. on the Montefiore Einstein scoreboard. Just one hit against Cam Schlittler. He had 3 walks in the inning before Yuri De Los Santos came in and got the inning-ending double play. New pitcher for the Astros, the lefty Bennett Souza, and he comes in to face the 7, 8, 9 hitters, starting with Dominic Smith. And Smith, so far, Jack's had a really good spring already with a couple of home runs, including one last Wednesday.
Right, Yankees signed him to a minor league deal only about 6 weeks ago. That happened on January 12th. Had some major league time last year with the Red Sox and the Mets.
Fouls that one away on an 0-2 pitch.
Red Sox and the Reds. He has had time with the Mets, but last year was the Red Sox. He played 84 games with them, 9 with the Reds. You see what Sousa did in 2023 with the Brewers and with the Astros.
And the lefty on lefty matchup, 0-2 pitch. Bounces that one in the dirt, 1-2.
Sousa's a 4-seamer, slider, sinker pitcher. Good challenge for Smith here, who already has 2 home runs this spring. Trying to show the Yankees that he deserves some at-bats. We know with Giancarlo Stanton's elbow injuries, Yankees trying to figure out who will end up getting those DH at-bats.
Smith powering that one foul. And we go back to Wednesday in that game against the Cardinals, and Jack, he put the hammer down on this one.
Yeah, that fastball a little bit up in the zone. Just absolutely crushed by Dom Smith. Got 64 homers across 8 major league seasons.
1-2 pitch, a little slider that misses, 2-2. It's a good take.
Yeah, really good pitch by Souza, but as you said, also a good take by Smith. Probably just down a little bit.
And a ground ball. The third baseman gobbles it up. Whitcomb on to first, 1 away. One away here in the bottom of the third. George Lombard Jr. is the hitter, getting a rep at third base today. Last season at Single A and High A, a .231 hitter, 5 homers and 45 runs batted in.
Number 2 prospect in the Yankee organization, according to Baseball America. Bob, he's only 19 years old, and he put up nice numbers last year. Yankees like the speed, they like the power, they like the athleticism, they like the lineage. His dad played in the major leagues and is the bench coach for the Detroit Tigers.
1-0 pitch, drills that one out to left field, and that one is just going to keep flying. Lombard Jr. flexing right there to tie the game at 1 apiece. Big time pop there from Lombard and a solo home run.
Bob, last year Lombard had 1 spring training hit. It was an opposite field home run. This year he pulls one over the left field fence and off the bottom of the scoreboard. And sometimes you watch someone play and you just say to yourself, he looks the part. We'll see what the future yields, but he just looks the part. Lombard Jr. is one of those players.
Well, that was a big-time home run to even this game at 1 apiece and brings up the number 9 hitter, Duke Ellis, playing center field today. Cody Bellinger getting the day off. We'll see him patrolling center field. He did play last night in that game that you called with Ryan and had a pretty good game.
He reminded you of why his transition to hitting at Yankee Stadium is probably going to pan out better for him than his last season did at Wrigley. But let's talk about this home run. Fastball out over the plate, and Lombard Jr. just destroys it.
One-two pitch to Ellis. Bounced in the dirt, 2-2.
Kevin Reese, who obviously handles the player development side for the Yankees. I've told this story this spring, but he said about Lombard Jr. last spring he was working out with the Yankees pro infielders, guys who are going to play in the major leagues. And he said watching the way that he moved and the way that he handled himself and just the way he looked, said if you walked in off the street and didn't know who was who on the Yankee roster, you would not have known that Lombard Jr. was not a major leaguer.
Little slider that misses up, and Ellis takes that one out into right center field for a one-out base hit.
Yeah, we talked about what Souza features, Bob, fastball, sinker, slider. And here's a fastball, and you see Lombard Jr. get that front foot down, and he is not fooled at all. Loads, makes contact with that pitch, sends it off the scoreboard.
Young players who are highly touted, Jack, always looking for these moments in spring training. But how about the fact that he's a shortstop by trade, but today getting a rep at third base and showing a little versatility as well.
Yeah, he played some short and some second last year. He's obviously acquitting himself at third base and just showing some versatility. And there's that athleticism that we talked about that the Yankees like.
Back to the top of the order as nice steal by Duke Ellis. That's his calling card right there. Gets into scoring position with one away and Chisholm up.
So the least surprising thing that happened in this game today is Aaron Judge got a huge ovation. The second least surprising should probably be that once Duke Ellis got on base, he stole. As you said, Bob, that is his calling card.
And Jazz trying to cash in, but they're going to hold the runner at third. So with a throw through or a run through after the throw through, Jazz Chisholm Jr. taking advantage and setting up a second and third with one away. Good heads up base running there by Jazz.
Here we're going to watch the left on left matchup here. Chisholm driving this into right field. And you're right, Bob, about the savvy base running by Chisholm. Though Ellis is unable to score, Chisholm does grab another base.
You can see that Ellis had to hold up a little bit, make sure the ball got through out to right, but then once he held and the throw came through, Jazz went to second base. So prime RBI spot for Aaron Judge with runners at second and third. He struck out looking in the first.
So if this is a regular season game, Bob, does Joe Espada walk Aaron Judge right here?
That is a big time possibility, yeah. Set up a force with one away.
I think he absolutely would. In this situation, he wants Souza to challenge Judge. Judge had 20 intentional walks last season.
And gets that one into left field. That'll knock it around and give the Yankees the lead as Ellis scores from third. And Jazz Chisholm Jr. racing around as well. So a 2 RBI single for Aaron Judge, and the Yankees lead it 3-1.
Yeah, Souza comes in, fastball is up. Judge goes up and hammers it right past the third baseman. Scoring opportunity. Judge smelling those runs batted in and then delivering. Had a career high 144 runs batted in last year. He's got a couple this spring.
Good speed there by Jazz running from second base. He had to hold up just a little bit to make sure that ball got through. But once it got by Whitcomb, he was off to the races. So with 3-1 Yankees lead, bottom of the third, and one away. And with Judge on first, Jason Dominguez is the hitter. Flipping over to the right side of the batter's box. Dominguez lined out to center field in his first at bat.
Earlier this spring in a live BP session from the right side, Dominguez took Carlos Rodon deep. It's a good sign for him, a good sign for the Yankees. Obviously, it's a better hitter from the left side, but Yankees seeing improvement from the right side as well.
Souza missing away, 1-1. Chopper off the front part of the plate. They're going to let that roll and make sure that it rolls foul before Souza picks it up. When we talked about the Yankees during our hot stove show, Jack, you were a proponent of, with Dominguez, just letting him play, right? Just get him his reps, even if he struggles a little bit out of the gate, which they hope isn't the case. But if he does, just keep running him out there.
I think reps is the most important word that you used right there, Bob. Needs to play, needs the at-bats, needs the reps in the outfield, and it's a matter of giving a young batter, a young player, an opportunity. A couple years ago, Anthony Volpe's rookie season, the Yankees didn't publicize this, but they told him, you're going to be the shortstop. You're not going to be going up and down to AAA. And when you have some struggles, or if you have some struggles, as Dominguez struggles to make contact with that slider and goes down, you know that the position is still yours, and I think it takes a little bit of the pressure off you. One more look at that swing and miss. Now, that you rest on your laurels. You still have to work hard. You still have to be hungry. You still have to prove yourself. And Dominguez trying to put himself in a position to do all that.
Well, the Astros will make a pitching change with 2 away, and the Yanks leading 3-1 in the third. Tickets for all 2025 Yankees home games are on sale at Yankees.com. This season's home schedule includes some great promotional giveaways and is highlighted by interleague games against the Giants, Cubs, and Phillies, as well as the annual Subway Series games against the Mets. For more information and to get your 2025 Yankees tickets, visit Yankees.com today. Astros making a pitching change here in the bottom of the third. The Yankees leading at 3-1. Bring in the right-hander, Nick Hernandez. Face Anthony Volpe. Lofts a slider in there for a first pitch strike. Volpe struck out to lead off things in the second inning. And fouls that one away, 0-2.
Volpe and Jazz Chisholm have been working extensively this spring. You see Hernandez's numbers on the 24 season, not a lot of action. That's the Yankees double play combination. They're trying to get as acclimated with each other as they possibly can.
And from what we've seen with this plan of Chisholm and Volpe, they made a decision. Chisholm's going to be the second baseman. Let's figure out third base as it goes with LeMahieu, Peraza, and Cabrera.
I agree, Bob. It doesn't mean that if you needed to put him over there in a pinch, you could move Jazz from second to third, but you're right. I think that second is the position they favor for him.
And a swing and a miss on an inside fastball. Hernandez gets the strikeout. That'll do it. But the Yankees leading at 3-1 as we head to the fourth.
And the New York Yankees set.
Top of the fourth, Tampa 3-1 Yankees on the Tri-State Cadillac scoreboard. As the Yankees putting up a 3 spot on 4 hits in that bottom of the 3rd inning. Chas McCormick, the leadoff hitter here. In the top of the 4th, he flew out to right field in his first at bat. As we welcome in Yankees manager Aaron Boone, as always, Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you, Aaron. Good
Hi, guys.
With us, and impressive stuff there in the bottom of the 3rd, and have to say, impressive stuff from George Lombard Jr. with that shot out to left center field.
Yeah, wow. I mean, he put a real charge into that. It's fun to see him continue to develop physically, you know, from last year to this year. I mean, I think he's going to be a really good player. Really, really special on defense, and you know, we're starting to see that happen a little more with the bat. He's had a couple of good at bats in spring so far, where, you know, last night he hit a ball well into the gap for now. Same the day before, and then no doubter there.
Aaron, a lot of fans eager to see Aaron Judge in the lineup today, and then he produces in his second at-bat. What did you see from Judge, and just how will you use him for the rest of the spring?
Well, first we got an ABS challenge here, guys, so we got to find out here. Let's see what we got. Oh, good challenge, Benny. Good challenge, Benny. So, yeah, first game obviously for Aaron. Probably have him play the field here in the 4th, and then be done. And then we're on the road tomorrow, and then we have a night game Monday. He'll be back in there, and then he'll have 2 days with the off day on Wednesday, and then just start to build him from there. You know, it's, you know, I just kind of look at it like steady, like we're, you know, I want to get them to 5 and 6 innings, and then back to back, and then, you know, hopefully by the end they've had some 7, 8 innings where they've played 2 or 3 in a row, because that's the biggest thing. You just want to get their legs under them, their endurance, you know, and as much as anything, it's standing around too in the field. It's like you got to get used to that kind of stuff. So, you know, we'll just kind of a steady build with him, but he's in a really good spot. He's been getting a ton of at-bats, you know, in live sessions and things like that. So he's in a really good place physically, and baseball-wise, he's kind of ready to go. I feel like his at-bat's been really good to this point. It looked like there might have been some balls off the plate called against him in that first AB, and then obviously the base hit.
Kind of typical Aaron Judge, though, right? Maybe the outcome of the first at-bat doesn't go the way he thinks it should, but second bat just battles back. And you mentioned he might not get as many in-game swings being a veteran, but there are a lot of swings happening away from these games that will get him up to speed, right?
Yeah, there really are. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah, he's getting a ton of at-bats in, and like, I mean, all our guys, and that's one of the things they're able to replicate a lot better nowadays. And but yeah, he's had a ton of at-bats already.
Well, Aaron Boone and the Yankees calling for the quick inning. Aaron, good job. Thanks for joining us. We'll
see you guys
next. Catch the next spring game from Steinbrenner Field as the Yankees take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Our coverage is at 6:30 on Yes and streaming on the Gotham Sports app.
And Aaron Boone just told us Aaron Judge will be in the lineup for that game on Monday, so even more reason to watch it now, Bob. He'll get tomorrow off, but Monday night for our next Yes broadcast, you will see number 99 again.
And Ben Rice getting his second at bat, leading things off here in the bottom of the fourth. And we alluded to this with Boone. He mentioned this, but Ben Rice knocks that one out to right field and gone. Laser beam out to right. Another home run for the Yanks in a 4-1 lead. First home run of the spring for Ben Rice as he got the start behind the plate today.
Meredith talked about Rice adding some weight. He said he ate a lot more in this offseason. So you add some weight, you add some power, and when you recognize a pitch out of a pitcher's hand, as he did with that pitch from Hernandez, you can do that kind of damage.
Brings up DJ LeMahieu. Now, we were talking about Aaron Judge, the first at bat that he had. Jack not going his way, struck out looking, but it's just who Judge is, right? A quality at bat, a second time out results in a base hit that knocks in two.
Yeah, just a really savvy and smart at bat from Aaron Judge. We'll see a few hundred more of those this season, and you see him smiling as the Yankees have some fun in the dugout with Ben Rice catching and also going deep.
DJ LeMahieu on a fastball, gets underneath it, lifts it out to shallow center field, and the second baseman coming up with it, one away.
And there's that Hernandez pitch. Little break to it, a little wrinkle, not fooling Rice at all. That front foot is down, the follow through, and line drive home run, Bob. A little Yankee Stadium special. I mean, he got it into the deep, maybe 8 rows back or something like that. But Rice, for a young player, already has a 3-homer game on his resume, we recall from last season. So he has power.
So does Dom Smith, who has 2 homers in 3 games this spring, getting the rep at first base today. And a swing and a miss, evens a count at 1-1. Now, Jack, I wanted to get your take on this too. Rice doing the catching today, but let's say there's a day, let's say he does break with the team. He's the backup catcher to Austin Wells. Wells is catching, and you want to throw Rice in at DH or first base. How dangerous is that, or much of a challenge for Boone, knowing that you'd have to probably have an emergency catcher as well?
Yeah, I think that's a question for Aaron Boone in terms of how comfortable he would feel with doing that. You would lose your DH, obviously, if there was an injury and you had to slide Rice over from the DH spot. But those last 4 spots on the Yankees roster in terms of position players, let's say 5, because we don't know what's going to happen with the DH spot. There's some interesting names and a lot of competition, but Ben Rice he's got the versatility, he's got the power, he can catch, he can play first base. As you said, you could pop him in as a DH, so he looms as a very interesting candidate for one of those spots.
Two-2 pitch coming up to Dom Smith. And did he check himself? He did. So the count goes full at 3-2.
That 3-homer game from Rice that I referenced last year. One more look at this, and I think Dom Smith did hold up on that one. 3 homers, 7 runs batted in against the Red Sox for Rice.
And Smith, hot shot to second base. Dubon makes a nice play for out number 2. And to Rice's credit last season, Jack sort of called up and sort of feet to the fire as a first baseman. They got him some reps down in the minors and said, you got to come up and help us out, and he did.
Yeah, he got off to a really strong start. He did slump after that, ended up hitting 171 in 50 games. made the roster for the ALDS but did not appear in any playoff games. Still, the Yankees like what they see in the 26-year-old.
Well, they love what they saw last inning from George Lombard Jr. 414-foot shot to left center and a home run that got the Yankees on the board. One pitch from Hernandez. Little change, drops in for a strike, 1-2.
Lombard Jr. was a first-round pick, obviously agreed to a $3.3 million signing bonus with the Yankees. He had committed to go to Vanderbilt, but signed with the Yankees, went into their system, and now is trying to work his way to the major leagues.
And Hernandez whistles one inside, evens a count at 2-2.
Bob, Lombard Jr. does not turn 20 until June.
So Harold was not the announcer till I got there.
And if you want to talk about a family with a great athletic lineage, his younger brother Jacob is expected to be one of the top prospects in the 2026 draft. Last September, Baseball America ranked Jacob as the #2 high school prospect for his class.
Wow. Incredible talent. And Lombard Jr., a test case for those players who want to go to college but might get the big offer as he did and get into the system and start learning the pro game. So a strikeout there, but a home run gives the Yanks a 4-1 lead. Welcome back to Yankee Spring Training, presented by your local Ford stores. Dominate the field with the legendary Ford Bronco, official SUV of the Yankees. Another beautiful sunny day in Tampa, and the sun shining on the Yankees and their offense. 4-1 leading it on the Montefiore Einstein scoreboard. A 3-spot in the third, followed by another solo home run in the fourth. Gives them a 4-1 lead. And we're in the top of the fifth with the 7, 8, 9 hitters. Luis Castro for the Astros walked in the third and scored their lone run. Yoendris Gomez is the new pitcher for the Yankees.
Interesting pitcher, Bob. He's got a 5-pitch mix. You see the numbers last year. He did have a cup of coffee with the Yankees, 5 games with them. Appeared mostly at AAA, but he throws a fastball, a sweeper, a slider, a curve, and a changeup.
And Castro lifts that one out to right field. You see the Judge is gone now. That is Castillo and right. So 1 away.
And when you start trying to plot out who's going to be in that Yankee bullpen, I think 6 of those spots are locked up. Williams, Weaver, Hamilton, Hill, Cruz, and Leiter. So those last 2 spots, Yoendris Gomez is an interesting candidate. He went up and down 3 times from AAA to the major leagues last season, but he's also out of minor league options, Bob. So in terms of his future, the Yankees would need to make a decision on him. If he does not make the major league roster, he would have to be exposed to waivers. One thing they really like about him, lefties hit only 175 against Gomez last year. That's at AAA and the majors combined.
Clicking a 94-mile-per-hour fastball in for a strike against Kennedy Corona. Corona behind 0-2. He struck out in the 3rd. Fouling that one away to stay alive.
I mentioned that Gomez doesn't have any options. We'll see who the Yankees end up carrying at the back end of their bullpen, but one thing our friend, colleague, and former manager Buck Showalter has always talked about is the need to have some guys in your bullpen who are optionable, because that allows you more flexibility as the year wears on, and you need some fresh arms, even if you just need somebody to fill in for a short period of time. If you have the ability to option someone else down, that gives you that flexibility.
1-2 pitch coming up from Gomez.
Yes, he did.
Misses away, 2-2.
Check him, Blue.
What are we looking at in terms of open spots in the Yankees bullpen when they break camp?
I mean, you look at Williams, Weaver, Hamilton, Hill, Cruz, and Leiter. So that's 6 spots that I think are locked up. So you're looking at those last 2 spots. Gomez, De Los Santos are candidates. There's the projected bullpen options. We've got Matzik on there. We've got Gomez on there. Cousins and Loaizaga, Bob, are obviously pitchers who, if they are healthy and ready to go, would be on that opening day roster. But we already know Loaizaga is late April, early May. And Cousins is probably going to be delayed as well. Cousins, by the way, visited today by his cousin. Kirk Cousins, the NFL quarterback, was at Yankee camp today. So those are always interesting and fun battles, Bob, just trying to see who grabs those last couple of spots. Matzik is someone that Boone has spoken about very highly. Would give the Yankees a second lefty. Boone has talked about how Matzik looks like the pitcher he was back when he was excelling for the Braves. And Matzik is on the list to potentially pitch today. The list that we received said he was going to get some innings today, or get an inning today.
It's Gomez on the mound right now, and he goes to a 3-2 count against Kennedy Corona.
You'd have to really.
You know, we have all these specialists that throw certain pitches that seem to be able to get lefties and righties out. How important would it be for the Yanks to take a second lefty outside of Hill?
Yeah, I think you start talking about as that pitch is just outside, and we're going to see Corona walk. I think it's important, Bob. I do think the Yankees would say, as we take one more look at this pitch from Gomez, they would point out that they have righties who can get lefties out. But Matzik's got the experience. He's someone who has done it. He's got that fastball slider combination that I absolutely think could be a benefit, because he's different than Hill. We all know Hill comes sidearm and is going to be heavy sinker and not the same kind of velocity.
And a throw down by Rice, but it is Corona with the first pitch stolen base as Cesar Salazar bats. Runner in scoring position here with 1 away in the 5th.
Yeah, Corona gets a good jump. Rice tries to speed up the throw, but with a breaking pitch and the good jump, that wasn't going to be close at second.
Gomez missing inside, 2-0.
You're in line and you like hesitate for a minute.
Good velo on the fastball from Gomez, but having a hard time getting it in the strike zone right now, behind 2-0 after walking Kennedy with 1 away.
Wait a second.
Salazar walked as well back in that third inning as the Astros had 3 walk batters and a base hit that brought in the first run of the game. 2-1 pitch. And a swing and a miss, 2-2.
You know, it's kind of interesting that Gomez comes out of the bullpen with a 5-pitch mix. There are not many relievers who come in and can go to 5 different pitches. That's a starter's arsenal.
2-2 pitch. Fouled away.
I've got our colleague John Flaherty words ringing in my ears about simplifying it when you're coming out of the bullpen, but this has worked for Gomez, and obviously one pitch is a sweeper and one is a slider. They're cut from the same cloth. He also has the curveball, the changeup, and the fastball.
See what he comes with on the 2-2. Misses with a 4-seamer inside. Count goes full. Payoff pitch to Salazar. Sounds like a shattered bat and a ball that might drop into right, but instead goes into the seats just over the wall. And still life for Salazar with 1 away.
Bob, a lot of times we see a player like Gomez trying to work his way into a permanent major league position, and I'm always interested in going back and tracing that player's road. Gomez spent 3 seasons in rookie ball, 2017, 2018, 2019. The 2020 minor league season was canceled, so he didn't make it to full season minor league baseball until 2021. Then he had internal brace surgery on his elbow in August of 21. So you talk about perseverance and hunger and trying to get there. It's already been a pretty long road for Gomez.
Like to find a way to put Salazar away here with 1 out, a runner at second. Goes off speed and Salazar hangs in there. Another 3-2 pitch coming. Boy, Salazar putting up a good fight here.
And Gomez on his 3rd batter of the inning has already thrown 22 pitches.
Looking for a put-away pitch here on 3-2. And gets a fly ball to right field. Castillo tracks down with about 2 steps to go before he hits the wall. The runner will tag, but it's a big out and a loud out for out number 2 here in the 5th.
Yeah, this is a really strong defensive play by Castillo, as you said, Bob, making that play on the track, a couple of steps from the wall.
And after 23 pitches from Gomez, Boone will take the ball and go to the bullpen. We'll be back after this. Yankee Spring Training on Yes is brought to you in part by Hyundai. The Hyundai Getaway Sale event deals so right, it almost feels wrong. Only at your local Hyundai dealer. By 917 Lawyers, powered by Whites and Luxembourg. By Popeyes, love that chicken from Popeyes. By the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, help America's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. And by Sandals, made of Caribbean. Back in the top half of the fifth inning, a pitching change for the Yankees. With a runner on third and 2 away, and Mason Vineyard is the new pitcher for the Bombers.
See what Vineyard did last season in 34 games. Opponent's batting average under 200. That's strong. Jackson Castillo with that play, Bob, for the second out of the inning on Salazar. He played for single-A Tampa Tarpons last year, so he knows Steinbrenner Field because he seemed very comfortable out there in right field, gliding toward the fence to make that play.
Vineyard facing Jeremy Pena, who is grounded to short and singled and knocked in the only run for the Astros in this game back in the third. Little pop-up behind the plate. Pena is a rookie in 2022, winning a Gold Glove. Been working on his defense a lot this offseason, being quicker on his throws to first, not considered to have the strongest arm at short. Vineyard bounces that one, 1-2. Kennedy Corona at second, 2 away, and a 1-2 pitch.
Vineyard making Rice work back there. Really nice play by Rice. By the way, earlier in the game we talked about the pass ball that was called a wild pitch in the third inning. They did correct that. They went back and called it a pass ball, but really nice block by Rice there to keep that pitch in front of him.
2-2 pitch from Vineyard. With a little curveball and misses 3-2. Payoff pitch. Ground ball to short. Volpe on to first, and that will do it here in the top of the fifth as we head to the bottom half, and the Yankees leading at 4-1. This injury report brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And for the Astros, Jack mentioned this earlier, pitching woes, Luis Garcia and Christian Javier both coming off Tommy John surgery. Garcia is close to facing hitters, and Javier could be back after the All-Star break. Meantime, Lance McCullers Jr. had a right flexor tendon injury. He threw live BP today. So question marks for the rotation and bullpen for the Astros as we head to the bottom of the fifth. Yankees leading at 4-1 on the Montefiore Einstein scoreboard. And Duke Ellis is the hitter against Logan Van Huy. Ellis to second and one away. Yankees with 3 in the bottom of the third. They added another in the bottom of the fourth on the Ben Rice solo home run. That was one of 2 home runs for the Yankees this afternoon. George Lombard Jr. with a 414-foot shot to left center to get the Yankees on the board. Third at bat for Jazz Chisholm Jr., who has grounded to first and singled and scored in that third. After acquiring Jazz Chisholm Jr. just before the trade deadline last season, Jack, a chance for them to get a full season's look at what he can do.
And he was dynamic as a Yankee. Combination of power and speed, versatility. We know when he came over, he handled third base, a position he had never played before. General Manager Brian Cashman revealing that his preference would have been to have Jazz play second and slide Gleyber Torres over to third. Yankees didn't end up being able to pull that off, and Chisholm acquitted himself very well at third.
And a strikeout there from Jazz, who, by the way, I should mention, he's challenging though, so the ABS challenge.
The batter is challenging the call strike.
As we look at Chisholm, and we just see him from the waist up, and Jack, a sort of a subdued color palette on the belted shoes for Jazz today.
Strike, the batter's out.
And that is a strike, and Jazz Chisholm out for the second out of the inning.
One more look at it. Jazz did not think this was a strike. Jen Powell thought it was. ABS confirms that Jen Powell was right. And you prefer the subdued pattern, Bob, or you like the flashier
Just
colors?
for him, it's different, I would say. That's all. But I expect in the regular season he'll step it up with some colors. Here's Jackson Castillo. We've seen him make a couple plays out and right. Impressive tracking of a fly ball right to the wall in that last inning. Took over for Judge and Wright.
Interesting to hear Boone talk about the way he will handle Judge's workload as Castillo gets a hold of that one.
And hits it to center, and that will do it. So a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the fifth. 4-1 Yanks as we go to the sixth.
Thanks, Jamie. It's great having a supportive business community.
Reporting beneficial ownership information helps protect U.S. national security. Filing is quick, secure, and free. And it's the law. Learn more at fincen.gov/BOI.
Great to have you back with us. Top of the 6th on the Audi scoreboard. Yankees lead the Astros 4-1. And that is Mauricio Dubon. First pitch, lifting one out to left. And Jason Dominguez will haul it in. One away. We saw Aaron Judge make his first start of the spring, playing right field today. Got a couple at bats. Meredith Marakovits had the chance to catch up with the captain.
Aaron, we're just a handful of games into spring training, but what do you think of the team so far?
Excited about the team. You know, we got a group here that's motivated, excited to be back. A lot of new faces, definitely, you know, just around the whole, you know, infield, even outfield. But it's a lot of guys that, you know, wanted to be here in New York, wanted to play for the Yankees, and, you know, we're seeing some good results out of them so far.
You mentioned some of the new faces. Cody Bellinger drove one out to right field. How excited are you about his potential in the lineup, especially knowing that swing at Yankee Stadium?
I'm excited. I've seen him hit a lot of homers over my head, especially with the Cubs, Dodgers. It's going to be exciting to see him do it in pinstripes. You know, this ballpark was made for him. He's a guy that can work the count. He can leave at any part of the yard, you know, especially right field at home. He's going to fit nicely in that lineup, especially with Goldschmidt behind him, Jazz, whoever we got hitting behind him. It's going to be something special.
I spoke to Jazz today, and he was talking about the double play combination this year between him and Anthony Volpe, perhaps maybe being one of the best in the league. What do you think of that statement?
Oh, he's on par with it, you know, especially with, you know, how well they both play defense. They got so much range, so much speed, quickness. Their instincts out there is, you know, if it's not the best, it's top 10 with the best. So it's going to be fun to see those two do their thing up the middle.
You had a single today, drove in 2 runs. I know you've been working a lot on the backfield. It's the first game, obviously, that you got in. Do you feel like you're seeing the ball well? How do you feel about where you're at the plate right now?
I didn't see the ball well at first at bat, you know, striking.
I wasn't going to bring that up, Eric.
Yeah, we didn't have to bring that up, but it's, no, feeling good. You know, I think it's just about making sure I'm swinging the right pitches. You know, situations come up, guys on base, try to drive them in. Just try to keep it simple here in spring training and just kind of get your body ready for the 162 and plus.
Do you have a number of at-bats you'd like to get, that you'd like to see prior to heading north to the Bronx?
40 to 50 is usually a pretty good number. I think I had 30 last year, and I think that wasn't enough, especially how April started. So we're going to kick that up a notch a little bit and you know, really get it ready for opening day.
Unbelievable season last year for you. MVP season. How do you go about even trying to follow that up?
There's always ways to improve. You know, little things I can do either on defense, base running, also at the plate. You know, there's a lot of missed opportunities out there. You know, if I look back throughout the season, you know, guys on base, I could have drove them in more. But I could sit here all day and tell you how we need to improve. But you know, I just got to go out there and do it. I think that's the most important thing is, you know, we've got to prepare the right way, do everything now in spring training to get ourselves ready to do it again.
You've put up some unbelievable numbers, unbelievable years. Do you think you'll ever be satisfied?
I don't think so. I think even until I'm done playing and I give everything to this game, I think I'm always going to be never satisfied.
When you talk about motivation, especially considering the way last year ended, take me inside that clubhouse. What is the chatter like heading into this season?
Motivated. 23 left a bad taste in everybody's mouth, especially not even making the postseason for the first time, and then, you know, going all the way to the dance and not finishing the job. You know, I definitely left an even worse taste. So I think guys are motivated, excited to go out there. You know, it starts now for us. You know, it comes out, you know, getting everybody right, so that when opening day comes, when we start this season, we can get right back and, you know, get back to that dance and finish it.
Aaron, appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Send it back to you.
Meredith, thank you. It was an epic season for Judge last year and winning his second MVP. Played 158 games, batted .322, 58 homers, and 144 runs batted in. And, Jack, I wonder the perspective of Judge now, having split time between center and right last year and some DH reps, just getting comfortable back in his original home in right field.
Yeah, Judge is such a team-oriented player that he is going to play where the Yankees needed him most last year. That ended up being center field. He's clearly very comfortable in right field, Bob. I'm shocked that he's never won a Gold Glove award. I think he plays Gold Glove caliber defense in right field. And again, wherever the Yankees need him, he has been able to provide and provide at an unbelievable level. You mentioned some of those numbers. He led the majors in home runs, runs batted in, walks, intentional walks, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS. Just a phenomenal season. Interesting, he told Meredith he'd like to get 40 to 50 at-bats, which would be more than he had last year. And, of course, he did have that sluggish start that he referenced last year.
Luis Contreras, the new pitcher for the Astros, facing Jason Dominguez to lead things off here in the bottom of the sixth. What I also find interesting, Jack, is him mentioning the 40 to 50 at-bats, how things change when you're a rookie and you want to get as many eyes on you as possible and have an impact. You want as many reps and at-bats as you can get. And as a veteran now, he knows exactly what he needs to be ready for the regular season.
Yeah, every player is different. It's about finding your comfort level and what works for you. We've talked about how this is the first game that Judge is playing, but he's been swinging on backfields. He's been taking a ton of swings against his own pitchers. He's been hitting in cages, so he obviously took a lot of swings before today, and now it's up to he and Boone and the rest of the Yankee coaching staff to determine what they feel is the best number and the best amount of at-bats for him to get.
Dominguez with a foul ball. Count moves to 3-2. Jack, I did want to mention one thing. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but Nelly and I had a bunch of ABS challenges in Wednesday's game. We've had a couple in this one. Dominguez on the 1-1 pitch sort of looked at Jen Powell a little bit and then put his hand on top of his head to adjust his helmet. And I'm thinking, players got to be careful, right? Like, you really have to do the tap instead of just adjusting your helmet because they might think it's an ABS challenge.
And Dominguez goes down for the second time there, but you're right, Bob. And I think as we look at the pitch that Dominguez stares at, that might have been a challenge right there. That might have been challenge worthy. But you're right. You do want to make sure that you're clear in your communication with the umpires. I think the umpires, they're standing right next to you. I would like to think that if there was any discrepancy, someone would say, are you challenging? Yeah. It'd be a pretty easy exchange to have.
Anthony Volpe has struck out a couple times this afternoon. Up here in the sixth for his third at bat with the Yankees leading at 4-1.
Wade Boggs, I'm not sure if Nelly brought this up. Wade Boggs was famous for stepping into the batter's box and then not liking where the second base umpire was situated and tapping his helmet to get the umpire to move. And he was a player I saw do that over and over again, whereas never really saw other players use that method.
2-1 pitch to Volpe. Chopper foul. So did the umpires just come to understand that that's exactly what he was trying to do, move him?
When you're the kind of hitter that Wade Boggs is and you've won as many batting titles as he won, they got to know his habits and idiosyncrasies.
2-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. So Volpe striking out 3 times this afternoon. Second strikeout of the inning for Luis Contreras.
It is a good changeup from Contreras. Volpe swings through it.
That'll bring up Ben Rice. Rice is grounded out to first, and again homered to lead things off for the 4th inning. That solo shot giving the Yanks a 4-1 lead. And that homer that he hit, by the way, 113.3 miles per hour off the bat, harder than any ball he hit all last year at any level.
Yeah, that's very noticeable. That's a very interesting nugget. He did scorch that baseball. We talked about it flying on a line out of the ballpark. Positive results for Rice.
Oh-2 pitch in the dirt, 1-2. Fastball lower part of the zone and misses, 2-2. Contreras missing with that one, so the count goes full on Ben Rice.
Yeah, a couple of good takes from Rice, not straying out of the zone, making Contreras work and extending this at bat to a payoff pitch.
Good changeup again, so Contreras leaning heavily on that changeup to get 3 strikeouts in the inning. We head to the 7th with the Yanks up 4-1. Leonardo Pestana will be the new pitcher for the Yankees as we head to the top of the 7th. 4-1 Yankees on the Montefiore Einstein scoreboard. After giving up 1 run in the 3rd inning, Yankees pitching has done a good job of quieting the Astros bats. Zach DeZenzo leading things off here in the top of the 7th.
Last year, the Yankees made Pestano exclusively a reliever. It was the first time in his career that all he did was pitch out of the bullpen.
And DeZenzo knocking one into the corner. He'll be in with a stand-up double, sliding double rather, to lead things off here in the 7th.
One more look at it. Fastball is in. DeCenzo is right on it. Beats Pestana to the spot, ends up with a double. That hit notwithstanding, the move to the bullpen actually worked out well for Pestano. Batters only hit 182 against him last year. We showed you the other numbers. The ERA was under 3. He did miss a couple of months with injury woes. As you can see, big dude on the mound at 6'4". Trying to climb his way through the minor league system and eventually get to the majors.
1-0 pitch from Pestana. And gets a slider in there for a strike. 1-1. Facing Nehomar Ochoa, who took over at 3rd base for Shea Whitcomb. Can't hold up on that one. 1-2. Quincy Hamilton is the pinch runner. That's a good curveball in for a strike and a strikeout.
Yeah, nice spin on this pitch. Probably a good frame job as well behind the plate. And you look at Pestana's numbers throughout his career, Bob. Before 2024, when he did make that move to the bullpen. 3-13 with a 6.68 ERA. And that ball is going to get away. That'll be a wild pitch. He averaged over 12 Ks per 9 innings, but he also walked about 5.5 per 9 innings. So the Yankees thinking that a move to the bullpen, if he could tighten up his control, and he bounces that one right there, it would produce some dividends, and last year it did.
Man on third, one away. 1-0 pitch to Luis Castro, and that's in for a strike. 1-1. Castro walked in the third, scored a run, the lone run of the game for Houston. Chopper to short. On to first. The runner will score to make it a 4-2 game as Velasquez makes the play.
As Velasquez in there for D now, replacing Volpe.
So take a look at some of the changes. Gabrielson in left field, Jones in center, Castillo in right. We've seen him out there around the infield. Vargas, Velasquez, Matthias, and Rumfield, and it's Rodriguez behind the plate. Cutter in for a strike, 0-1. Now it's Nehomar Ochoa. Batting for the Astros. Pitch outside, 1-1. Some of those later game changes, Jack. They'll get you.
We're keeping up with it, supplying the information.
Pop, third base. Drifting into fair territory, and that will do it. So Astros get a run to make it a 4-2 game as we've hit the 7th inning stretch, and we will stay here for God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, today the New York Yankees are recognizing all the brave men and women of our armed forces. So please direct your attention to the Yankees first base dugout and welcome Petty Officer 3rd Class Kelly Bond of the United States Navy. Petty Officer Bond served our nation for 6 years and was deployed to the Middle East during her service and served our country as a bosun mate. The New York Yankees welcome Petty Officer 3rd Class Kelly Bond as our military honoree of the game. And say thank you to all of our brave men and women for their service and sacrifices for our country. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask you to rise and remove your caps for the playing of God Bless America.
Fans, the Yes app has moved to the Gotham Sports app, your new home for streaming live Yankee Nets and more. Free with an eligible TV subscription. Download the Gotham Sports app now and sign in with your existing Yes app username and password, or visit gothamsports.com to get streaming. Bottom of the 7th at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, and the Yankees lead it 4-2 on the Montefiore Einstein scoreboard. A.J. Blubaugh is the new pitcher for Houston, and he starts off by facing Omar Martinez.
The batter is
Well, today was the day the batter challenging the previous pitch, by the way, in an ABS challenge. You like what you're seeing so far with the challenge, Jack?
Love it. Love that they're trying to get the call right. Love that it's quick. Love that only the pitcher, catcher, and batter have the opportunity to challenge, and they've got to do it quickly. That was a nice job by Martinez there. That pitch was 2.5 inches outside, and then he delivers a base hit.
A base hit and more going into second. Taking a look at the third base coach. Do you go any further? Nope. Stand-up double to lead things off in the 7th for Martinez, who, Jack, by the way, took over for DJ LeMahieu, who made his first start of the spring this spring, as we take a look at Martinez with the speed to leg out that double that went into the right field corner. So we saw LeMahieu for the first time today. Certainly the big headline was Aaron Judge getting a couple at bats in his first spring start. And how do you see the lineup construction for the Yankees so far? Judge, pretty clear, probably moving back to the 2-hole, right?
Yeah, Aaron Boone has indicated that is his preference, to hit Judge second. I think you have to really see what are the Yankees going to do at the top of the order. That leadoff spot is one that we've seen Boone experiment with this spring training. Jazz Chisholm has hit leadoff. Wells has hit leadoff. Dominguez has hit leadoff. Volpe hit leadoff a lot for the Yankees last season. So where do they end up going in the leadoff spot? I think Judge will end up being ensconced in the second spot. You see Bellinger hitting behind him. You want to go right, left there. And then you have to see who the Yankees have available after that. There are some of the leadoff options that we talk about. I think Stanton would have been slated potentially to be your cleanup hitter, but we know that he's still dealing with those injuries. So if you want to go left, right is Goldschmidt, then your number 4 hitter. And as Wells after him. So a lot of things that Aaron Boone is still trying to decide this spring about how he's going to construct that lineup.
And last night, putting Austin Wells in the leadoff spot kind of felt like a spring thing, but then Aaron Boone told you that we might actually see that at some point in the regular season.
Right. He told Ryan and I that he said to Wells, this is something that I'm looking at. This is not just something I'm doing. And interestingly enough, the Yankees have never had a catcher hit leadoff in a regular season major league game. So we'll see if that changes this year with Wells. But you want somebody at the top of that order who is going to see some pitches, who has a high on-base percentage. But what's interesting about Judge being in the second spot, Bob, it just speaks to the fact that you want your best hitters to get the most at-bats.
2-2 pitch to T.J. Rumfield, his first at-bat of the game, misses inside, 3-2.
And having Judge hit second as opposed to hitting other spots in the order, you're getting him to the plate more often than if you hit him third, where he hit last year, obviously, because he had Soto in front of him. But this year, I could see the Yankees returning him to the spot that he hit previously.
T.J. Rumfield, little base hit, drops into left field. Martinez had to hold up to see if the ball would drop, so he advances to third. First and third, nobody away here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, one more look at this. Rumfield able to take the pitch the other way, as you said, drop it in for a single. Giving the Yankees a couple of base runners.
Jesus Rodriguez is the hitter. So as far as the lineup construction goes, if Judge is in that 2-hole, and we've talked a little bit here about the leadoff spot, you brought up a great point that you're looking for a guy that sees a lot of pitches and gets on base a lot. We traditionally think, and maybe it's back in the past because base stealing was more of a thing back then, of having a guy who can get on and steal a base. But for the Yankees, maybe, Jack, is this fair to say not as important because you've got some heavy hitters coming up after that can hit the ball out of the park?
Yeah, and I just think that whole idea of having the speedy guy in the leadoff spot has gone by the wayside. You want a guy with that high on base percentage. Sure, the Yankees have those heavy hitters to deliver them, but so much has changed about the way lineups are constructed. We talked about Judge hitting second. And by the way, there's your plate appearances per lineup spot. So if a friend ever argues with you and tells you he'd rather have Judge hitting fourth than hitting second, well, across an entire season, you'd be costing yourself 33 plate appearances. You want Judge to get those 33 plate appearances. And just look at 2024. The most plate appearances in the number 2 spot in Major League Baseball. Juan Soto, Bobby Witt Jr. were 1 and 2. So you're talking about guys who finished in the top 5 for the MVP. But go back 20 years. Most plate appearances in the number 2 spot. First couple of guys, Mark Loretta and Jack Wilson. More of those guys move somebody over, sacrifice, hit behind the runner.
Jesus Rodriguez, base hit up the middle. Well struck, gonna score a run. And the Yankees take a 5-2 lead. 3 straight base hits here for the Yankees in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, Rodriguez gets that breaking pitch and doing exactly what batting coaches will tell you to do. Hit the ball up the middle. And he delivers the single and gets a run batted in.
Interesting, Jack, where he holds the handle of the bat right behind his head and his neck. Interesting approach from Rodriguez. This is Andrew Velazquez. Took over at short last season with Atlanta, got into 118 games, had 16 homers and 48 runs batted in.
Bob, just closing out that point on number 2 hitters. If we go all the way back to 1974, the kind of batters who were getting the most plate appearances in the number 2 spot: Larry Boa, Ted Sizemore, Felix Millan. Now you also had Rod Carew and Joe Morgan, but it was more of that contact hitter. Can you move a guy over? And these days it's get your best hitters the most plate appearances.
Well, Judge in the 2-hole today had an RBI single. Knocked in a couple. Velazquez up 2-2 with runners at first and second, and a run already in here in the bottom of the 7th. Velazquez out to left field. And the runners will hold one away. Support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org.
Bob, I thought Meredith had a charming interview with Velazquez yesterday in which he talked about how he had been wearing his Yankee cap in the offseason, and now that he was in Tampa, he wasn't really sure if he should be rocking the cap on his way to the ballpark. And he said he talked to one of the Yankees clubhouse attendants who said, wear it.
Alexander Vargas has taken over in the spot of Jazz Chisholm Jr. 78 games at high A and double A last year. And A.J. Blubaum misses there. Runners at first and second, one away in a 5-2 Yankee lead here in the 7th. Swing and a miss by Vargas, 1-2. Ball getting away from the catcher, and the runners will advance on that wild pitch.
Yeah, this one is clearly a wild pitch. Blue ball, bouncing it. As expected, both runners move up.
And a miss up high, so full count to Alexander Vargas. Good take right there, and a walk for Vargas to load the bases.
We talked about lineup construction, and toward the bottom of that order somewhere, potentially you're going to see Oswaldo Cabrera. Yankees like what he can give them. He's actually celebrating a birthday today, so happy birthday to Oswaldo.
Happy birthday, Oswaldo. We'll take a break. His team up 5-2 over the Astros. Yankee Spring Trading on Yes is presented by your local Ford stores. Dominate the field or any terrain with the legendary Ford Bronco, official SUV of the Yankees. Back in the bottom of the 7th inning as the Astros make a pitching change. A.J. Bluebaugh gives way to Misael Tamarez, who spent last year at AAA. 31 games, 11 starts, so bounce between a starting rotation in the bullpen, and that's Jackson Castillo. And a noisy foul ball. Yanks in business here again. They've scored 1 in the 7th, and they've got the bases loaded with 1 away.
Those are some strong numbers that Castillo put up last year. OPS of over 800. We mentioned that he played a lot of his minor league baseball right in this ballpark with Tampa.
Gotten at bat in the 5th, flied out to center field. So his second at bat of the game, and a chance to do some damage here against Tamarez. Pitch away, 2-1. Swing and a foul ball, leaves it counted 2-2. Yankees got an RBI base hit by Jesus Rodriguez earlier in the 7th. And a walk to Alexander Vargas loaded the bases and forced a pitching change. First of 2 meetings on a swing and a miss by Castillo. Between the Yanks and Astros, about a week from now, they'll play again in West Palm Beach.
Going to see Castillo go down here. Swings right over that pitch. You asked me about the Astros before, Bob, and whether this was a reset or a rebuild. How about what Fangraphs has projected for the AL West?
Cole Gabrielson lifts that one out to left field with the bases loaded, and let's just call it a granny. Grand slam on the first pitch. Gabrielson sees. He took over for Dominguez and left. He's got himself a grand slam, and the Yankees have themselves a 9-2 lead. Big time pop from Gabrielson.
I'm not sure Fangraphs had projected this, but that sinker comes inside. Gabrielson destroys it. Pretty excited as he goes around first base. Tremendous feeling for the young hitter. As you said, jumping all over that pitch and pretty much knowing immediately that he had a granny.
So a 9-2 Yankees lead now as that brings up Juan Matheus. So hit me with those numbers. What do you got?
Fangraphs had the Rangers and the Mariners with 85 wins and the Astros with 84. That should be fun.
No doubt about it. Little pop to end the inning, but the Yankees extend their lead to 9-2 heading to the 8th.
Those in need, fostering independence and improved mobility. You can help illuminate the way to freedom and fresh starts. Learn more at guidedog.org and be a part of creating brighter tomorrows.
Let's take a look at the Citizens' upcoming schedule. Monday and Tuesday back-to-back games for the Yanks against the Pirates and Phillies. An off-day Wednesday, followed by games against the Twins and Blue Jays. And again, you see 12 games over the next 14 days for the Bombers as we head to the top half of the 8th inning. And that is Cesar Salazar, or Ryan Wrobleski rather, with the ground out to first base, one away. Nice play by Rumfield. Well, let's get it down to Meredith Marakovich. She's got some news on Giancarlo Stanton. Meredith.
Well, Bob, Giancarlo Stanton will start the season on the injured list. The Yankees just issued a statement saying that since leaving here in Tampa, he's been tending to a personal issue in New York City. But during that time, he is continuing rehabbing those elbows. He received PRP injections in both of his elbows. The timeline on Giancarlo Stanton is still not known, but they did add that he's going to be starting the season on the injured list. So, Jack, that certainly brings up some more question marks when it comes to that roster. Who is going to DH the majority of the time without Giancarlo Stanton in the lineup?
Right, the Yankees are 26 days away from their season opener, so they will continue to have auditions for which players are going to fill out those roster spots. But as Meredith pointed out, Bob, with that recent news, we now know that officially at the start of the season, it will not be Giancarlo Stanton, someone the Yankees had hoped to rely on to be their primary DH.
Kervin Castro is the pitcher for the Yankees, facing Jesus Bastidas with one away. And I've mentioned this before, Jack. We talked about it during the hot stove season, that if there's an advantage for the Yankees, unfortunately, they've learned to live without Stanton before with injuries. So Aaron Boone well-versed in utilizing that spot in a really good way to get certain players off their feet, including Aaron Judge, from game to game.
Right, we know that Judge would be someone who, even if Stanton was healthy and on the roster, that you would still get Judge a DH day here or there. Does that increase? We'll have to see. Does Boone slide Bellinger from center field to right field? As we see the ground out here, put Grisham in center field, and Judge gets a DH day or two. Suddenly someone like Dom Smith comes into play. Ben Rice, another hitter vying for at-bats, and those are the in-house options that the Yankees have as they move forward to try and solve that issue in terms of who gets those at-bats.
2 away, Bryce Matthews is the hitter. Well, Dominic Smith certainly has made a case for himself so far this spring. A couple of homers, some good at-bats, left-handed bat, would play well at Yankee Stadium. Castro looks good. A cutter in for a strike, 0-2.
Other than third base, the Yankees essentially know who their other starters were going to be. So now you add DH into the mix. So if you take the 4 bench spots plus DH, you're trying to figure out who will fill those 5 roster spots. And you have the 3 players who are vying for time at third in LeMahieu, Peraza, and Cabrera. You have Ben Rice, who we've talked about. Grisham has to get one of those spots. We talked about Dom Smith. So how does that roster squeeze work out?
Got an ABS challenge coming up.
The pitcher is challenging. Nelly said that should never happen, Bob. Let's see if this becomes a strike. He gets the corner.
The call is a strike. The batter's out.
That is a tremendous challenge by Kervin Castro as he goes 1-2-3 in the 8th.
And I've been taking it quite a while myself. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really worked so good for me. Makes my day.
Prevagen, for your brain.
We head to the bottom of the 8th at George M. Steinbrenner Field, and the Yankees leading it 9-2 over the Astros. Brendan Jones leading things off here in the 8th. Couple big innings for the Yankees in this one. A 3-run third followed by a 1-run fourth on a Ben Rice home run, and then a 5-run 7th inning powered by a Cole Gabrielson grand slam. A.J. Bluebaugh is back in pitching for the Astros. Again, spring training games, managers can bring a pitcher back in. And he does that with Bluebaugh. A swing and a miss, 2-2.
You called that Gabrielson grand slam? It's actually a USC product.
Hey now.
Played at Hudson Valley and Somerset last year for those two teams.
All fellow Trojans appreciate that, including his manager, Aaron Boone.
As he should. 24-year-old, born in Belmont, California, went to Woodside High School in Woodside, California, but as we talked about, he was all over that sinker and just blasted it.
I appreciate you getting a little USC love in there, because I'm just surrounded by Fordham greatness all the time, constantly.
I don't think Rucco and I mentioned Fordham last night, but I think Kay and I probably mentioned Fordham when we did the first game of spring training.
Payoff pitch to Jones, and fouled into the mitt, 1 away.
And last night, on behalf of Troy Benjamin, our producer, I made sure I got a couple of Georgetown references in there.
Very nice. I'm sure he appreciated that.
Because the Blue Jay pitcher Bloss had pitched for Georgetown.
Omar Martinez is up. His second at bat. He doubled down the right field line back in the 7th.
Bob, we know there are so many Yankee fans out there who watch every game. They watch every pitch. They're such passionate fans. One of those fans I wanted to take the time to mention is Frank Argento. Frank's family laid him to rest today in East Rochester, New York. He's very good friends, or am very good friends with Frank's son, Chris. Chris would all tell me about Frank's thoughts and his appraisal on the Yankees, so I wanted to send condolences to the Argento family. When Frank was laid to rest today, there was a Yankee cap involved in making that happen for his family, so condolences to the family.
Condolences, and God bless Frank. And Omar Martinez cannot hold up on the change. 2 away.
Yeah, that pitch diving out of the zone. You see Powell, the home plate umpire, getting some help from third base.
Brings up T.J. Rumfield with 2 away. Rumfield had a single to left in the 7th.
I got some more USC love for you, Bob. Gabrielson's grandfather was Len Gabrielson. He played 9 years in the major leagues. Cole's dad, Randy, also played in college at USC.
Keep it coming.
So we're piling that on for you today.
Rumfield ticks that one behind the plate, 1-2. 1-2 pitch to T.J. Rumfield. And a swing and a miss, and that will do it. So Blue Bob with a 3-strikeout inning. The Trojan-powered Yankees lead at 9-2.
Popeyes has the best of both wings. Our juicy chicken is marinated to perfection with 2 distinct twists on all 8 flavors. Whether you prefer our spicy bone-in wings or our classic tender white meat boneless wings.
Yankees with a commanding 9-2 lead as we head to the top of the 9th at George M. Steinbrenner Field, and Palma leading things off. Miguel Palma, 1 swing, fly ball center field, 1 away. Good afternoon offensively for the Yankees. 3 in the bottom of the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and 5 more in the bottom of the 7th. Brings up Cam Smith for the Astros with 1 away, and Smith was a big part of that deal to send Kyle Tucker to the Cubs. The first-round draft pick just a year ago, Jack. He was one of the key pieces in that deal.
All right, Kyle Tucker will spend this 1 season with Chicago. You see the numbers that Smith put up. The Astros were eager to add him to their lineup, but not having Tucker is going to be a loss for that Houston lineup. He was injured for a chunk of last season, but still put up good numbers for the Astros in less than half a season. He will be a desirable commodity on the free agent market after the 2025 season.
Two-one pitch to Smith. Castro misses inside, 3-1.
The Yankees, of course, also talked to the Astros about Tucker. They did not want to include Luis Gil in any deal. He's the Rookie of the Year. Pitched over 150 innings for them, won 15 games. They were not going to make him part of that deal, a potential deal. It's kind of an excuse me swing there. I don't know what I want to do here, but I'm going to end up fouling this one off.
Full count as Castro gets ready to deal to Cam Smith. Ooh. Good little pitch, lower end of the zone. The cutter misses. And it's a 1-out walk for Cam Smith.
Yeah, the pitch was down, so it was a matter of whether or not he swung. Good attempt at frame.
Quincy Hamilton is the batter, 1 away and a runner on first.
When and if the ABS becomes part of regular season games, Bob, I'm going to be curious to see what the routines are and the strategy becomes for teams, because if you get to the 9th inning, you're still sitting with your 2 challenges. And you do think a pitch is close, but maybe you still think it's not a strike or a ball. Do you end up just using those challenges because you have them? We'll have to see how it all pans out.
One pitch to Hamilton, misses in, 2-1. Ground ball right off the glove of Rumfield and into foul territory as the runner will advance to third base. So first and third, one away.
Yeah, this is just going to eat up Rumfield at first base. That ball was scorched. Probably would say it's one that he should have collected, even though the exit velocity is probably about 100. Gives the Astros runners on the corners.
Chase Jaworski is the batter. That ball gets away, and the runner will score. A wild pitch. Third run of the game for the Astros.
Yeah, this is just an example of overthrowing. Pitch way over the head of Rodriguez.
Castro missing up, 2-0. Castro had a good pitcher's challenge last inning. You mentioned that Nelly said pitchers should never challenge. There's a little bit of what I guess ego involved in that the pitcher always thinks a pitch is a strike.
I thought Nelly gave a great explanation about your emotions being on the mound, and you're always going to think if you threw a good pitch, hey, that was a strike, I want to get that call. I understand that side of it, but it did work out for Castro in that inning, and I don't know that every pitcher will agree with that philosophy and might say, hey, listen, I know the strike zone. I want to be able to call a challenge.
Kervin Castro's thrown 29 pitches, and that will be his last as Aaron Boone makes a pitching change here in the 9th. At George M. Steinbrenner Field, the Yankees leading at 9-3 over the Astros. They pushed a run across, one away, at first and second, and Edgar Barclay is the pitcher. Last year at AAA, 29 starts, ERA of about 6. 118 strikeouts against 70 walks. Trying to wrap things up and get the Yankees a win here against the Astros. And a strike into Ryan Robleski. Our next game, as we mentioned, will come Monday against the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's an evening game, Jack, and in that game, as you mentioned, we'll not only see Aaron Judge again in the lineup, but we'll see Max Fried for the first time.
Max Fried making his Yankees spring debut. Very eager to see him on the mound. He's a perfectionist out there. He's got a lot of the same traits as Garrett Cole in terms of his approach, dissecting what he needs to do. You and I interviewed him during his introductory press conference at Yankee Stadium, and you could just tell that he eats, sleeps, and drinks pitching. And very curious to see how that Cole-Fried 1-2 combo at the top of the rotation produces for the Yankees.
Barkley misses right there, 1 and 2. Those have got to be some heady conversations between Cole and Fried breaking down pitching.
Yeah, Cole has already talked about the fact that he and Fried have had good discussions throughout the spring, and different kind of pitchers, but speaking the same language.
Nice change up there by Barkley for a swing and a miss, and out number 2.
Baseball Savant credited Fried with throwing 7 different types of pitches last year. 4-seamer, curve, changeup, sweeper, cutter. So he brings a lot to the table.
Last chance for the Astros is Nehomar Ochoa. He lifts one out to left field, and that will do it as the Yankees get a Saturday afternoon win at George M. Steinbrenner Field by beating the Astros 9-3. Couple big innings, 3-run third and a 5-run 7th inning, powering the Yankees to this win at the game of the spring. Let's get to the Audi electric moment. Experience a fully electric Audi vehicle at your local Tri-State Audi dealer today.
And of course, we talked about it. Aaron Judge with his spring debut. He gets that pitch. It was up in the zone. He wraps it through the left side. A couple of runners come in to score. Good start to the spring for the reigning MVP.
3 home runs on the afternoon for the Yankees. One of them is our Cadillac drive of the game.
Let's just remind everyone that George Lombard Jr. is 19 years old, and he did that right there. 414-foot shot off the scoreboard. He had a spring homer as an 18-year-old last year. He's got his first as a 19-year-old this spring.
All part of a winning effort for the Yankees in this one as they score 9 runs on 9 hits. Astros just 3 runs on 3 hits in a time of 2 hours, 36 minutes. Well, that's going to do it from George M. Steinbrenner Field. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director John Purcell, Mike Webb, and our executive producer is Jared Ames Boschnak. Join us again on Monday as the Yankees host the Pirates at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. right here on Yes. Once again, the final score is the Yankees 9 and the Houston Astros 3. Now, for Jack Curry and Meredith Marakovitz, I'm Bob Lorenz. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.